my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez, and welcome back to my YouTube channel video, Nicholas Montez, and welcome back to my YouTube channel video. I'm so excited to have you all back here together again, and in today's video, we are talking about Day 2 of D23 for all the stuff that was announced, and we actually got quite a few more announcements to talk about in this day, though at the same time, while we got a lot of stuff to talk about, not a lot of stuff was really a big bombshell to talk about, but it is still stuff to talk about, so let's talk about it. All 31 projects that were talked about at D23 today. I may have included some that were announced before I made this list that were posted on day 1, but at least we're still talking about them, and I'm sharing my thoughts on them with you guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, ranking all 31 projects that are announced for D23 on day 2. Okay, so if you know me, I never exactly watched High School Musical. I mean, I watched the High School Musical films, High School Musical 1 and 2. I never watched the third one or the one that was a spin-off for one of the characters. I never watched any of the High School Musical films or the first 3 seasons of it. And so the fact that this show has expanded to a 4th season really surprises me, because is this show really doing well? Like, is it really doing something good? Or is it like, I don't know. Like, it's very odd that this show, of all shows, it's getting more seasons. Like, Mandalorian Season 2 has already come out. We're getting Season 3 next year. So, people have been saying it's bad, but hey, we'll see what happens. I'm probably not going to watch it when it comes out, like I have been missing it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on High School Musical Season 4. Okay, so I am making this as soon as I watched the trailer. So once I came up with the ranking for this, I actually was supposed to put this up higher because I didn't watch the trailer before I made this list. And for American-born Chinese, this trailer looks amazing. This show looks amazing, as it's basically this whole action-based type show, and it's with Asian people, and it works. It seems like it's built for, it's extremely for Disney Plus, and I think it's one of the best things that I think Disney Plus will create. And it's also, the executive producer is Dustin Daniel Cretton, which, if you don't know, directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which I know I say I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, but I do like the film. So, and the action in the show looks amazing, so I want to see this show right now. I need to update it in somehow, but I am excited for this show. And for me, I never exactly was a huge fan of the original Haunted Mansion film from 2003, starring Eddie Murphy, but I like it, and the fact that we're getting a remake next year is cool. We did hear at D23 on day 1, this was a day 1 announcement, that Jamie Lee Curtis is actually going to be part of the cast of the film, though we don't really know what character she's playing from the original film. She plays, like, I guess she's playing an original character, I don't know, but I am kind of excited for it, though. Now, if you know me, I have seen 2 Fantastic Four films, and, you know, when this film was announced, I was, of course, very excited for it, because we're finally getting this iconic Marvel family, the first family of Marvel characters coming to the MCU, finally being in there. To talk about some of the news that they've updated with us, that, you know, it's not going to be an origin story. That kind of interests me a little bit, because they're doing the stuff they did with Spider-Man, where they had his first movie just take place after Civil War, not be an origin story, and just continue his character after that movie. So that interests me. And, you know, honestly, this was honestly one of my biggest expectations for D23, because a couple days before this, we got announced that the director, one of the creators from WandaVision, Max Scheckman, is going to direct this movie, and that's all we got from this movie. and that's kind of disappointing when you talk about this film, because if you haven't seen all the rumor of all the fan casting that this movie has gotten over the past couple months, since they announced that it's coming out November 8th, 2024, and it's going to be the first film of Phase 6, that's bonkers to me that we still have to worry about what the fan cast of this film is going to be. Granted, I'm still going to go and watch it, but it's still crazy that the only thing we got was the confirmation of who the director is going to be. So, that's very frustrating with me, but overall, I wish that the stuff with Fantastic Four could have been better. Now, if you know me, Thunderbolts, when this movie was announced, it was one of my most anticipated MCU films. The fact that we're getting a film that is kind of like Avengers, but it's basically a replacement for having an Avengers film, and it's the culmination of Phase 5, and pretty much we did get, and this was also one of my expectations for D23, as one of my expectations for getting news from this film is getting the lineup of the MCU version of Thunderbolts, and we actually got it, and the team consists of Valentina Allegra Delmontagne, the girl that recruited, that was in Falcon Winter Soldier with John Walker, and Yelena in Black Widow. Hannah John Kamen is returning as Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is an interesting one. David Harbour as Red Guardian from Black Widow. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova from Black Widow. Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes, is coming back to play Winter Soldier. Wyatt Russell is playing John Walker again as U.S. Agent. And then we got Taskmaster from Black Widow. So let's kind of talk about each and every one of these members. So, Val, I guess it kind of makes sense to put her in the team because, you know, she is technically the person that is putting this team together. She's like the Nick Fury of the group. My biggest problem with it is, like, Nick Fury, when Nick Fury part was, like, putting together the Avengers, he never was a part of the official lineup. It was just the 6 heroes that he assembled. And so I think it's kind of weird to put her part of the lineup. Or if they're gonna do a poster, she probably could be like the animated character above it, or like somewhere in the poster. Then we got Hannah John Kamen Ghost, which of course I'm excited to see her again after Ant-Man and the Wasp. But the thing is, how exactly is she gonna be Ghost because we don't really know what happened to her after that film. Because sure, Scott got the particles, but he was stuck in the quantum realm for 5 years. So we don't know. Maybe she somehow got fixed with Bill Foster. Who knows? Now, here's one character that just really bothers me. David Harbour returning as Red Guardian. Now, David Harbour Red Guardian was one of my favorite parts about the Black Widow film, but I don't really think you need to put him in the Thunderbolts film. Granted, he is kind of an anti-hero because he did do some bad stuff. He spent half of his years while Black Widow was free doing Avengers stuff in a Russian prison. And I get that, but he doesn't really fit as this team. This team of heroes is fit for these anti-heroes, these characters that have done good. And for me, Red Guardian seems more of a superhero than an actual villain. And if I'm being honest, I would love to see him, if anything, I would love to see him return in like a Winter Guard project. And the thing is, if you don't know what the Winter Guard is, we've actually seen, it's basically like the Russian version of the Avengers. They're basically like Russian Avengers. And the thing is, we've actually seen members of the Winter Guard in Black Widow. So for example, that guy that he was arm wrestling in the Russian prison, that was the Bear character. And then he also mentioned another member called Crimson Dynamo, which is also a member of the Winter Guard, but also a member of, he's also an Iron Man villain, I guess. But anyway, like, yeah, I don't think he fits like with Yelena, but we're about to talk about her right now. It makes sense to put her in the team because she is an anti-hero, considering her stuff with Black Widow and her being a hero, but then trying to kill Hawkeye in the Hawkeye show. So it makes sense to put her in this film. And then, of course, you got Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. I have to say, I am glad they're bringing him back. I don't think that he fits this film, though. I get it. Winter Soldier is one of the most iconic anti-heroes of all time. But I think because you're getting another Captain America film, I think it would fit more to have him be in the Captain America movie than actually be in this film. If you at least just mention him, that would be cool. But actually have him part of the team, I don't know. And then we got John Walker, U.S. agent. Of course, Elena and John Walker were, of course, members that we knew were coming in this team. And honestly, it's kind of surprising that he's not going to be leading the team, considering he's like the evil version of Captain America. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. And then the final member, Taskmaster. You know, that was honestly one of my least favorite parts about the Black Widow film, is they pretty much wasted Taskmaster, and it wasn't Tony Masters, it was Dreykov's daughter. And so I don't like this. I don't like what they're, but I'm hoping that they can actually redeem him. So overall, I think I'm hoping that they can actually redeem this character from Black Widow. So overall, I think that the overall lineup of the Thunderbolts for this movie looks pretty cool. The only thing is, where is Abomination? Where is Zemo? I'm guessing it makes sense why we didn't see a scene with Val and Abomination at the end of at the end of Shang-Chi, because I was expecting that since he was in the film fighting Wong. And then also, where's Zemo? I'm pretty sure we're gonna get them, because Zemo was like a major part of the Thunderbolts in the comics. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more characters along the way as time goes by, because we're getting this movie in like 2 years. So I am still excited for it. I'm just not the biggest fan of this lineup right here. Now, when this show was announced after, you know, the Hawkeye show, I was initially excited for it because I love the Hawkeye show. It's my favorite Disney Plus MCU series. And so, and I like the character of Echo and the way that they described her. So I was actually interested to see what they were going to do with this character. But what really brings it down for me is that they're making her like supernatural. They're giving her superpowers. And I'm not really the biggest fan of that when you turn like these characters that use guns and like spies, and they turn them into like fatal superheroes. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. And I don't really think she really needs to be that. And so, because like, I feel like with Hawkeye, he's a proven hero that you don't need to have superpowers to be a superhero. You really need to set an example of what a superhero needs to be. So I don't know. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of this, but hey, we'll see if it actually doesn't do that stuff. We'll see how it turns out, but let's see how it goes. Alright, so if you know me, I was not the hugest fan of Loki Season 2, but I will of Loki Season 1. Just the whole story, the special effects were great, but like the whole story and the way it played out and everything wasn't that all good. The cliffhanger, though, got me intrigued into what Season 2 was going to be. And for the news that we've gotten for the past couple months since Comic-Con, you know, we've gotten announcements saying, like, that Kang the Conqueror will have his, like, own little Black Order type deal, the way Thanos did in Infinity War and Endgame, where his Black Order will basically be the Squadron Supreme, which is basically like this Marvel version of Justice League, where it'll have, like, a Marvel version of Superman Hyperion. It'll have Nighthawk, it'll have Dr. Spectrum, and all these other characters. So, I'm not exactly the biggest, that sounds interesting, but the biggest announcement they announced at D23 was that Loki Season 2 will fit right into Avengers Kang Dynasty, but also an actor from Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to be in this episode, in this season, and basically being like a TVA agent. So I'm actually kind of excited to see that, and we're likely going to see some of that action portrayed from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm doubting we won't get anything like that, but it'll be cool to do that, to get kind of a callback to that amazing action sequence he did in that film. So I'm excited. From the news that we've gotten so far for Loki Season 2, I'm actually a little bit more excited for it now. Alright, so now we're talking about the Marvels, and this is a film that, you know, I've always been kind of excited for, because, you know, the concept of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Photon, Monica Rambeau's character coming in here to basically team up to stop whatever threat they're going to face. That is something that I'm very interested in. You know, seeing all these three characters interact, like seeing this young version of Monica Rambeau teaming up with Captain Marvel, just the icon of that just sounds incredible. And all the characters that are coming into this, with Jimmy Woo coming back and possibly Nick Fury and all the other characters coming back, it just sounds like a cool adventure. And from the footage that we heard that we got, sounds pretty cool. Like Carol fighting, Brie Larson fighting in Kamala's living room. So I'm a little bit more excited for it now that we have some footage of it, though I wish I could have seen it. So if you don't know what this is actually going to be the next movie coming out. This is actually going to be the next Disney MCU thing coming out after She-Hulk. So it's going to be coming out right in the middle of She-Hulk as it's about to end. And basically, it's a first special for Halloween. And to be honest with you, we also got our trailer for it. It's not exactly, I don't really know what to feel about it though, because, you know, it's a new character, it's a special, so, and it comes out October 7th, so that kind of interests me. It's coming out the first Friday of October, so that's cool. Introducing a new character, that's awesome. Introducing the MCU version of Man-Thing, and just kind of doing something new with the MCU and kind of making it like Moon Knight, as this, in the comics, Moon Knight was the first person to appear in the Werewolf by Night comic, so at least we kind of know something from it, but honestly, I don't know too much about it to really be excited for it. Now for me, I never watched the original Willow film, but this series looks like it's going to be a very interesting little thing. As it had a poster, which the poster looks badass as fuck. Excuse my language. But it also just looks like very badass with the action and the world building and all the characters. And it just looks like a very exciting show that I'm probably gonna like. And it looks like a mixture of Lord of the Rings, so it just looks very cool to me. So at first, when I saw the trailer, I was like, wait, is this a series or a movie? So it's actually a series, and I believe it's a part of the National Treasure series that stars Nicolas Cage. And this show looks pretty cool. I remember in my world history class in 8th grade, I remember I watched parts of National Treasure, and the movie's pretty good. I didn't finish it because I guess I missed school one day and they were continuing to play it. So unfortunately I missed that, but this show looks pretty badass. It looks really cool, so I'm actually excited to probably check it out one day or something. Now if you don't know, Disney has been talking about making a Percy Jackson series for Disney Plus for a very long time now, and they're finally doing it. They finally showed our first teaser for it, and it looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. I didn't see the full thing just because I don't know, I guess I was not focused at the time, but Percy Jackson, I never really read the books or watched the movies, but it looks pretty cool, so I'm excited to probably watch this when it comes out. Alright, so we knew this show was finally coming, but what made this announcement so cool is that we finally got our first trailer for it, and this was actually the trailer that they showed to the fans at Comic-Con, so it wasn't too much anything big for people that went at Comic-Con, but personally, I thought the trailer presented itself as basically a physiological thriller that looks absolutely amazing. And what makes it so cool is that throughout most of Phase 4, we've gotten all these projects that have been all goofy. We never really, ever since like Endgame, really, we haven't, or really since Winter Soldier, and really since the Captain America films, we haven't really gotten anything that's been like so serious and that has been treated for jokes. And this show really fits that, in that it's taking itself so seriously. And I love that, as this whole show is designed who is a Skrull and who's not. And to me, that's really interesting, and I think this show is also just a great way to bring back a lot of characters. And I like how it's not really about a certain superhero in the show. It's, you know, kind of like this big event. But that's also kind of a problem with it, is that if there's no main character, then this feels like a whole show of exposition that will lead into other MCU projects. But at the same time, I'm excited to see how this show turns out, and I'm honestly really excited to see how it turns out, to see familiar characters, and I'm of course excited to see Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury again, after, you know, what he did in What If and Far From Home. Now, we didn't get too much news on the Ironheart show. Personally, I'm very excited for this series. I'm excited to see her in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm pretty sure she's going to be a great addition to that movie. And with her having her own show, I'm very excited just to go back to the world of building Iron Man suits in the lab. It's just going to be so much fun. But also, so what we got for this show, is, of course, we got the cast for Anthony Ramos to play the Hood, which, if you don't know who Anthony Ramos is, or Matthew Ramos, no, that's Soups. Anthony Ramos, if you don't know, he was in The Heights, as well as Hamilton, if you saw that from 2020. And he's basically playing this character that can do magic, and Kevin Feige described this show as it's technology versus magic, and that's kind of an interesting way. But at the same time, I kind of wish it would go back to its original Iron Man roots and have her actually fight bad guys and blow people up. I'm pretty sure we're going to at least have a little bit of that in this series, but I'm excited to see what this series is going to deliver to us. Now, this is a series, I never watched any of the Star Wars shows, but I have heard about this series, about Star Wars The Bad Batch, and I gotta say, people say that it's pretty good so far, and it looks pretty good to me. I think I would definitely go watch it. By the way, I have a big announcement. So if you guys go to my schedule list, I posted, so last night I made my schedule for this upcoming week, September 16th through the 18th. And usually when I do this, I go through the years of 2022 and 2023 to update the movies that I'm going to need to be watching to get up to those new releases. And one film I came across when I was going across 2023, on December 22nd for 2023, was the untitled Star Wars film that is being directed by Taika Waititi. So that means, in 2023, I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars films. Now, I've only seen 3 Star Wars movies: Rise of Skywalker, Empire Strikes Back, and A New Hope. So that means that we'll be starting on October 27th with Return of the Jedi. If this movie gets delayed, it'll be later, but we will be starting with Return of the Jedi, and then ending with Solo: A Star Wars Story, and then we'll be in theaters watching that new Star Wars movie. Hopefully we do. And I'm excited to see this iconic franchise, and I'm just really excited to see it. I'm actually part of this Star Wars culture. But anyway, the Star Wars Bad Batch Season 2, we heard it's coming out in later years. So I'm not really excited for it because I haven't watched the first season. So, but it does sound cool that we're getting a season 2, since the whole concept of it looks cool. Okay, so around the time when they announced a certain Christmas project, they put out these 3 little specials. I don't know exactly what all these are. All I know is that they're Christmas specials and they're coming to Disney Plus I believe this year, but we don't really know what they are, if they're movies, if they're little specials. We don't know what they are. All we know is that they're coming to Disney Plus sometime this year, and with this one, it's a Nutcracker special, so it gets me in the Christmas season, so maybe I'll probably watch it. This is another project that I actually know nothing about. I don't even know what this is, but all I know is it's another one of those Christmas specials that they're bringing to Disney Plus later this year. And this is another Christmas special that they announced. This was actually the first one they had, and seems pretty cool. Best in Snow. I heard about it one time, and sounds pretty cool. Okay, so we already knew that this series was coming to Disney Plus. The thing is, we didn't know when it was coming, and the fact that we're finally getting news on this movie, on this series, of course, it's great to see Tim Allen as Santa Claus again after playing Santa Claus, and I believe, I don't remember when Santa Claus 3 came out, I don't remember, but personally, the idea of him retiring and trying to find a new person to be Santa Claus, kind of a dumb idea for this to be a series. I probably will watch the Santa Claus 3 film before going into this series, but overall, I am still excited for it. I'm excited to see Tim Allen as Santa Claus again, and I'm excited to get into the Christmas feeling before we head into Thanksgiving. Alright, so now this is a series that has been talked about for multiple times over the years, and we're finally getting more news on it about a live-action Ashoka series, and sounds pretty cool. I kind of like that they're making specific series for certain characters. It just sounds like a cool idea to me, so I'm excited for this series. Now, with this series, we knew it was coming a long time ago, but the way they described it as we got this trailer, they described it as a thriller in the Star Wars universe, and I think that's actually kind of cool and unique to do with this show, and something different, and just makes it kind of cool for the Star Wars universe. Just very cool and very interesting. Alright, so going into this show, I actually didn't know it was going to be animated, but it is, and it's basically going to be from the creators of Clone Wars and Bad Batch, and it's basically like kind of like this what if scenario, and telling all these different stories and all these origin stories for all these familiar Star Wars characters, and to me it sounds pretty interesting, to be honest, and I'm actually, it looks interesting, it looks pretty cool, so I might see it when I watch more Star Wars content. Now, this is another series that has me very interested, and first off, we're getting another Jude Law Disney Plus project, as we have him working on Peter Pan and Wendy, and being Captain Hook in that film. Now he's coming into this, not only is he playing Captain Hook in that film, but he's also being into the Star Wars universe, and I think that's going to be something very cool for him to be doing, and, but honestly, I don't really know much about this series, but from the title, it sounds like a very interesting series, especially with Jude Law being in it. Now, unlike the Star Wars films that I've seen, I actually have seen a bit of the Mandalorian show. I've seen a couple of episodes of Season 1, I saw a couple episodes of Season 2, and I think most of them I actually did like. Like, the show is actually pretty good. Like, it tells a pretty good story, as it basically takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and after the Empire fell. And it really is a cool little story that they're telling. The action is also great, the special effects are great, and so when we got the new trailer, I thought it looked absolutely amazing. Just brought you back into the world of Mandalorian, so I'm excited to probably watch some episodes of this, and hopefully the action is also great like the first 2 seasons were. Now, they didn't really talk much about this film at D23. All they really did was really talk about some of the major stuff that you want to be notified about. They showed us some concept art for the film, and not gonna lie, the movie looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing, like the Avatar film is presented as. And matter of fact, they even heard that Avatar 4 is now being filmed. So I'm like, bro, we're getting Avatar 2 this year. Wait until we get Avatar 3, and then you can start filming Avatar 4. Like, why are you spending so much time building this world? I don't understand. It's really complicated with what they're doing right now. But I am still very excited for Avatar 2. I know it's been a long time since we've gotten a James Cameron film, and the fact that it's the next film of his is going to be Avatar 2, it's very peculiar. But I'm very excited to see Avatar 2. Now, unlike Star Wars, I haven't actually seen an Indiana Jones film in my life. The only little part of Indiana Jones that I've seen was that little show in Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. And I thought that show was amazing, as it really was presented as like a movie coming to life and really kind of putting you into that adventure. And with this movie, first off, they announced that at D23, they announced that once when Harrison Ford was on stage talking about the film, he was in tears, as this is basically like his last time playing Indy, and it's gonna be a pretty cool ride. And you know, the way that they described the footage that they showed to them at D23, it sounded pretty cool, as like they're protecting his daughter, and he's gonna be held up by guns. All that sounds very interesting to me, so I'm excited to hopefully I can actually go and watch this film. Because I really want to watch it, because Indiana Jones is one of the most iconic action adventure films of all time. So hopefully I can go and watch this in theaters. Now, once again, they didn't really talk too much about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at D23. The stuff that they revealed is really why Kang the Conqueror is the main villain. And basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring the heart of what made that first Ant-Man film really good. And basically, using Scott Lang in a way of the way he was used before with Hank Pym. And Kang the Conqueror is kind of wants to use him because he lost something, and he wants to use Scott Lang to look for it. And it goes back to that heist plotline, where he's a good tracker, he's a good thieving, he's a good cat burglar. So he's going to use his heist skills to look for Ravonna Renslayer, which is, in the comics, Ravonna is Kang the Conqueror's wife. So, to be honest with you, that plotline seems very interesting. And also, much like Loki Season 2, this movie will also play a big part in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. So, I'm very excited to see this. With that concept, it makes me very excited to see this film a lot more, and I just can't wait to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, once again, they actually kind of did a little bit of stuff for this film. They actually showed some footage for this movie at D23, as they basically kind of showed some stuff with Ramunda and, you know, T'Challa's mom at the UN, basically talking about that the world is now against Wakanda, like the Wakanda is now against the world, like it's not just against Namor and his people, it's now against the whole world. And it also established something about like vibranium can't be detected by metal detectors. I'm guessing that's the thing. So that's actually something that's pretty interesting to know. We also heard that we got some Namor fighting M'Baku action, so that's going to be pretty cool. And one other thing they really talked about is that this film is not going to be an entertaining film. It's more of a film that is a memorial to Chadwick Boseman as a person, but really paying off that story, but doing a great story with this film as it is a Marvel movie at the same time. And even Ryan Coogler said that once the panel's done, he's going to go back to the director's room and continue to make this film because he wants to get it that good. So I can't wait for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We're getting this movie in 2 months, y'all. Actually 2 months. We're getting this movie in 2 months. That's crazy. Like, we're actually getting this movie in 2 months. 2 months from now, we're getting it in 2 months. September 11th, October 11th, November 11th. Wakanda forever, baby. Wakanda forever, bro. See y'all in November 11th. Now, this is a series that I've always been excited for, but for some reason at Comic-Con, they didn't really discuss anything about it, and it wasn't really put into any phase that was going to be a part of it. So what exactly is it going to be going towards? Well, we know some information now that it's going to be releasing, I believe, in 2024. And we also know that Don Cheadle's coming back as War Machine to play in the series. And that we also heard that Secret Invasion will lead right into this show, Armor Wars. And I'm actually very excited for this show. Just seeing the concept of War Machine stop bad guys from having Stark Tech getting into the wrong hands. I think the plotline of Falcon Winter Soldier will play a big part into this series as well. And hopefully we'll actually get to see, like, Harley as Iron Lad, the kid from Iron Man 3, be Iron Lad, and also maybe White Vision. Hopefully we'll get to see Pepper Potts and Morgan Stark again, but with White Vision, we actually don't know where he went after WandaVision, so we'll see if he's in here. But overall, the series as a whole has me very excited for what they're going to be doing in this show. Now, if you know me, I always was excited for this show when it was first announced. It was one of my top most anticipated projects for MCU. Basically, all of the announcements at Comic-Con. And pretty much we got at D23. We didn't get anything. Of course, we got an updated logo for the show, but we also got the meeting for Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox at D23 for this show. And honestly, it's kind of weird that they're actually making these characters part of the MCU now. It's crazy, like, because they're Netflix characters, and it's crazy that they're using these characters now as, like, part of the MCU. It's really crazy how the MCU has expanded. But yeah, I'm all down for this series, and also it was heard that Echo is going to be leading right into this series, so I'm excited to see where all this is going to go. At the same time, it's like, I feel like they're doing a little bit too much with Kingpin and Daredevil, and it's like, they should really just be saved to be seen again in this series, and not just be seeing Daredevil and She-Hulk, Kingpin and Echo, Daredevil and Echo. Like, just save them for this series, because they're doing too much, and then it will kind of ruin the experience of seeing them again. Though I get it, this series they'll be the main characters in this show. And, yeah, I'm honestly kind of excited to see that tone of that Daredevil show being brought into the MCU, so I'm excited to see what this show has to deliver. Now, you know me, I was always excited for this film when it was first announced, and we actually got some news on it. So the first one is Carl Lumbly will be returning as Isaiah Bradley, or the old black man super soldier that Sam Wilson went to go get inspiration from, as he was actually tortured in Falcon Winter Soldier. We also will be getting the return of Joaquin Torres, who will be the new Falcon in the film, since Sam Wilson is no longer Captain America. No longer Falcon, he's now Captain America. And then the final reveal is that Tim Blake Nelson, who played Samuel Stearns in The Incredible Hulk, will be returning to be the leader in this movie and be the main villain of the film. Now, I'm excited to see Joaquin Torres as Falcon and Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley again, but when it comes to Tim Blake Nelson as the leader, I don't think he would really fit as a Captain America villain, because he fits more as a Hulk villain, as he was in The Incredible Hulk. So why are you making a Hulk villain become this one? Now, we did get a little bit of a rumor that the She-Hulk in this film will basically have a bunch of different Hulk characters, like Red Hulk, Abomination, so you can probably see some of those characters in this show and movie. So, I guess that makes a little more sense, but if anything, if there was another villain choice for this film, I would have chosen, like, the Serpent Society, or maybe even Red Skull, since he's, like, besides Baron Zemo, he's probably the only Captain America villain that's alive today, because from 1945 to 2018, he was the Guardian of the Soul Stone. So once Thanos got the Soul Stone and he was freed, and he can't really do that. He can't really guard anything anymore, because even though Thanos is dead, the stones are destroyed now, so he has nothing to guard. So he's basically free roaming the universe. So maybe we'll see Red Skull again in another project, but maybe in like the Captain America project where he returns the stones. I hope that happens, but overall, you know, the movie itself, it's going to be an amazing ride to see Sam Wilson as Captain America being portrayed on that film. Seeing Walking Towards as Falcon, maybe we'll see Bucky again, maybe Sharon Carter. Maybe we're likely going to see Carl Lumbly do some action, since we only saw him through that brick on the wall. And I'm hoping that it's still a great story. And I'm very excited for this film. I also like Falcon Winter Soldier, so that's why it's my most anticipated project announced at D23 Day 2. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the About section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.